Hello, St. Hilary's. Father Steve talking to you on Saturday morning in the middle of church construction. Well, I haven't done a video like this in a long time, but I wanted to give you a little update. And if you're thinking, boy, it really sounds echoey in there, it is, because there's nothing in the church. I'll show you in a minute. But anyways, it's a reminder that we are in Horning Hall this weekend for masses, and dress comfortably. I'll show you, I'm in a polo shirt and in shorts today. So you can come in polo shirts and shorts, dress comfortably. It's a little toasty for 4 o'clock mass probably, but it's nice in there now actually. So we started construction on Monday, and they did some tile repair, and I'll post some pictures on that. We had several areas that were compromised in the tile because underneath the cement has cracked. That's especially true on either side of the sanctuary here, where the old part of the church meets the new sanctuary part when they did the renovation around 2000, and then a lot of cracking in the back of the church. And then one area off to the side, so if you are facing the altar, off to your right-hand side, there was an area that was elevated like this, almost a half an inch of almost like a bubble. And when they started going to remove the tile, a piece of concrete came off, and it exposed the rusted iron pipe of the floor heating system. This was built in 1965 and 1966, and there was a radiant heating system in this floor. The good news is that we don't use it anymore. 2 years ago, when we were redoing the HVAC, we disabled that system. But there was still some water in the system, and we sprung a leak, which was very exciting. So anyways, we had to turn the pumps off and drain the system, and so that's all taken care of, and they were able to pour concrete over that. But what's interesting is we've solved one of the problems, or we've looked at and know one of the problems, that we might get continuing issues in the future because that iron is in the floor underneath the concrete, and of course iron over time disintegrates and it's interacting with the cement and causing some of those issues. So we've repaired several of those areas as well. And what they do is, after they remove the damaged tile, they put a sealant over the concrete, which kind of stabilizes that area. And then over the crack, they put a membrane that is adhered, is that the right word? Adhered, maybe, adhered to the base. And then once that's dry, the new tiles are then glued to the floor, and next week when they come in on July 5th, they'll be finishing up putting the grout in and cleaning things up. So anyways, that's the view from here, but more interestingly, of course, is the view from the other side. So let me show you St. Hilary Church as you've never seen it before, with absolutely no pews in it. But look how nice the light is on the floor. And I'm going to take you around. Hopefully you won't get too dizzy. If this weren't a church building, I'd invite you to come in and do roller skating, because there's a lot of space in here. But as we go off to the side of the sanctuary, you'll be able to see that they've matched the tile pretty well. You can't even tell, but this area was very compromised from the side of the sanctuary over to the side door. And then there were several areas in the middle. This was the area where we had the buckling of the floor and the water pipe below. You can see that the new tile is just a little bit different than the old tile. And then we had quite a bit of area in the back. Oh, by the way, while we were doing this, we had a repair on the baptismal font as well. I'll show you pictures of that as well. This quadrant of the baptismal font, when it overflowed, compromised a piece of plywood that was in there. Can you imagine putting plywood next to a water source? And that plywood buckled, and it raised that piece of the quadrant of the baptismal font, but that's all nice, been repaired as well. And then in the back here, it looks really actually quite good now, but you can see there are several areas back here. See that whole line, that's all new tile right there from where there's a major crack in the floor. And then back in this corner, there's also major cracking in that part of the floor. You can see there's some replaced tile there. Look at the view from back here. St. Hilary, as you've never seen it before. Just, of course, this reminds you that St. Hilary's, as a parish, is not the building, it's the people of God. But it is a little bit shocking to see the building without the pews. And then, of course, we also had an area on the side of the sanctuary here that was also badly compromised, so we've added new tiles here. You can see there's a slight difference in the coloration there and the side door here. So the good news is all of that has now been repaired. A couple areas in the back of the choir as well that needed to be repaired. You can see the different coloration. They were able to match the big tiles pretty well, and we had a collection of the smaller tiles left over, so things were looking pretty good. All right, so Mass in Horning Hall this weekend and next weekend. Pews are going to be arriving. They were supposed to start on the 11th. They're arriving on the 13th, and we'll see how far they get. We may have to have a third weekend in Horning Hall, but we're going to wait and see how fast that they finish. All right, I'll be sending pictures your way as well, and see you this weekend. Thanks so much.